Billy, don't be a hero with your life. Okay, talk real quick. So
Alright, I'm in. Let's do it.
Join us on a stroll through the strange, frightening, but always intriguing world of the unexplained. Join us as we tiptoe through the darkness with your hosts, Izzy, and I'm Bethany. Alright, well, welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about Jinn.
Jinn.
And,
Genies.
Yeah, just that's because nobody would know what a Jinn is. So
I think a lot of people nowadays would know what a Jinn is.
No, maybe you're right. Okay.
Especially if they're Muslim.
Muslims know what Jinn is.
Yeah, because it's in the Quran. They should.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, So
here's the thing. Okay, so when I was doing the research, I don't want to quote from the Quran, just out of respect because it's not my book, so I feel like it would be disrespectful quoting from it.
Oh, no.
Is that weird?
No.
I don't know. If
you're trying to be respectful because it's,
I don't want to be the creepy respectful, like, don't offend your tease.
No, because you have respect for your religious books, so you're showing them the same respect you have for yourself.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I think that that's a noble thing. Okay, so I'm going to start us off and explain what the Jinn is. Now, I've got this information. This is from Wikipedia. Okay, my other sources are not, but this is they give a great rundown of what a Jinn is. By the way, support Wikipedia. We need them. They're the only reasons we're here. All right, anyway.
Do you think that they will pay us for it?
No, and I wouldn't accept money. Wikipedia is important. They're not always right. It's not their fault.
Well, they need advertising. No, I guess they don't need advertising, do they? They are the one entity that never needs to ever advertise.
Well, yeah. Okay, so anyway, Jinn, also romanized as Djinn, or anglicized as Genie, with the more broad meaning of spirits or demons, depending on your source, are supernatural creatures.
Actually, isn't Genie would be multiple of them? Original Jinn?
Okay, let's go with that.
I don't know. I was just thinking. But what does a group of Jinn call? They gotta be called something.
Genies.
Well, yeah, but like I think it's like a court. Bunch of crows is a court,
and ravens are murder. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a group of Genie. You screwed.
Here's the thing. You say this now, but I have a feeling that during everything I'm about to say, that's what you're going to be thinking about. I know, I can see it on your face.
It is! There's gotta be a term for it.
Oh my god, just make up one and let's go on.
A lamb?
Fine. A large group of genies is called lamb.
No, Agrabah. No, like Disney's made up country.
You really need to stop talking. They're supernatural creatures in early pre-Islamic, Arabic, and other Islamic mythology and theology. Since Jinn are neither innately evil nor innately good, Islam was able to adapt spirits from other religions during its expansion. Besides the Jinn, Islam acknowledges the existence of demons. The lines between demons and Jinn are often blurred, since malevolent Jinn are also called demons as well in some sources. However, both Islam and non-Islamic scholarship generally disagree between the analogies between them being angels, Jinn, and demons. Confliction of Jinn with demons can only apply to demonic Jinn known from Islamic folklore, but not about the Quran or the theological Jinn, who do not turn into demons themselves. The Jinn are distinguished from demons in that they can both be good or evil.
Sidetrack. When you correct yourself super loud, when I edit it, it sounds weird. Because then all of a sudden you're just shouting this word like a psychopath or sociopath. Who would do that? Schizophrenic?
Stop talking.
Okay. Sidetrack over. Go on.
The Jinn are also related to the wind. They may appear in mists or sandstorms. They were also known to have accompanied Muhammad during his lecture to the Jinn. It is said to view the Jinn as shadowy ghosts with no individual structure. According to her narration, Ghazal asked famous for Jinn incarnations, to reveal the Jinn to him. Accordingly, the first name I said showed him the Jinn, seeing them like they were a shadow on the wall. So right now, this is just, there's a distinction between Jinn and demons.
Actually,
and angels.
I wanted to get into discussion about that because they say the Jinn are made up of fire and air, and humans are made out of clay. So, and I'm not even sure what angels are made of, but it makes you wonder if they're just another version of humans. And would we be considered more successful than the Jinn? Because they have magic. But look at what we have built with just our clay cells.
You could say that about every creation that a god in whichever religion you pick created everything.
See, I was thinking like Avatar. You know the Avatar cartoon series? Like Earthbenders, Airbenders.
Oh, Avatar.
Yeah. Okay.
Say the last Airbender.
The last Airbender, okay?
Thank you.
But, and I was just thinking, if you were thinking of them as another species, because I also found on research that some people said they can procreate. They have babies. There's little baby Jinn.
Aww.
Where are their cities? Where are their great nations? I mean, you can think of us as just plain earthbenders or even, okay, if you went into fantasy novels, fantasy games, you saw the dwarves. The dwarves never had magic like the fae or fairies or anything like that. But they were always building these huge mechanicals. Where are the dwarves? We're the ones who are building and making things. We have these huge cities, these great things. Despite the Jinn and their magic, where are their cities? Is there cities? If you know of a city of Jinn, please comment. Tell us. Because I'm really interested in this.
You can't possibly believe that we found all the mysteries of this planet out. So maybe there is a city out there we just don't know about.
Or, okay, alright, just work with this. You know how, in the Bible it said that humans and angels procreated?
Okay.
And made the Nephilim?
The fallen angels.
So what if we and Jinn actually procreated? And what we have today, some people are a little bit more, esoterical than others. Am I using that word right? Some of us are more magical than others.
I guess that's a possibility. Anything's a possibility.
We procreated with the Jinn.
That's a possibility too. Okay, so anyway.
Sorry, go ahead.
There are Jinn in every culture. In Buddhism, which is similar to Islamic idea of spiritual entities converting to one's own religion, can be found on Buddhism lore. Accordingly, Buddha preached among humans that there was a spiritual entities who are like humans, subject to the cycle of life. That resembles the Islamic notion of Jinn, who are also placed among humans in regards of one's destiny. That doesn't make much sense. Okay, Christianity, the Old Testament uses the alternative plural Jan translation to render the Hebrew word usually translated into English as familiar spirit.
Wait, what's the plural?
Jan. Jann.
Oh, so genie is not the plural. Jan is.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Now you can't use lamp anymore. Some scholars...
It's still not a group.
Some scholars...
You need a grouping term.
Evaluated rather not the Jinn might be compared to fallen angels in Christian traditions. You just said we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Comparable to Augustine's descriptions of fallen angels as ethereal, the Jinn seem to be considered as the same substance. Along the myth of fallen angels is not absent in the Quran. The Jinn nevertheless differ in their major characteristics from that of fallen angels. While fallen angels fell from heaven, the Jinn did not, but tried to climb up to it in order to receive the news of the angels.
Okay, so here's the thing, the way I saw it is like, fallen angels are like Ronin. Soldiers that lost their master. So they tend to be wanderers that cause a lot of reports of Ronin turning out into outlaws.
Okay.
So, but the Jinn are more like us. They got free will. They've never been soldiers. They're just...
Or maybe they were a magical being that was jealous that they didn't have the powers, that they had more powers than us, so they were better than us, but they weren't as good as the angels, and they were jealous.
Jealous of angels?
Mm-hmm.
That's an idea. Oh, so here it again. There's a legend that they built Solomon's temple. Did you do research on that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so they built Solomon's temple out of respect or through magic. I don't remember. But the point is that they can build. Where are their cities? I just want to know.
Okay, so that comes to the end of what a Jinn is. So a Jinn is like a genie of what we would think of as a genie, but they mostly from the Middle East and from Islam has a different take on them. They're not necessarily good, but they're not necessarily evil. Kind of like human.
I think they're middle children.
Yes,
you know how the oldest are always the ones that are in control, always trying to be the bossy leaders that try to control their younger siblings' lives. Angels. Demons. Yeah. Anyway.
I knew that was going to happen.
And then you have the younger kids who are just lost, bumbling about. They're the ones that, they don't know what they want to do.
So are you comparing yourself to a Jinn?
No, I'm just saying that they're very much like middle children.
All right, so... Now,
like
that's what they are. What have you got? What have you brought to this conversation?
Okay, so I found that interesting that I found a lot of what I know about Jinn were actually came from not so much the Quran, but from poets.
Okay.
And I had one story I found on Vice.com about how this poet wrote about how he actually met a Jinn, and that was what inspired him to become poets. So that's a wonderful thing to think of the Jinn as also muses that sparked our interest in the arts.
Okay.
I just like that. So here is from the Arab poet Kathayir. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. I really am.
Oh, yeah. Side note, we mispronounce everything. Sorry about that. All right, go on.
So, Arab poet Kathayir Azza of the Umayyad period, 661-750.
Totally nailed that.
Totally nailed it. Known for depicting his romantic obsession with a married woman.
Wait, just one or several of them?
Is it a poet thing that they get obsessed with married women? Dante?
Side note. Okay, side note.
I don't think that bears a side note.
Okay, so I was listening to this really great podcast, Noble Blood, and they were talking. By the way, listen to Noble Blood; it's amazing. Anyway, she was they were talking about Lord Byron. You know who he is, right?
Yep.
Okay, and he was told by his uncle, I think it was his uncle, that if he has affairs, he should always have affairs with married women because they're not as needy, they're not as wanty, and they'll hump you and dump you just as quick as another one. Yeah, because they don't want
you ruining their marriage.
It didn't quite work for Byron, but
no,
the idea was there. Okay, side note over. Go on.
Okay, so he wrote about how he became a poet. One day, a man on horseback came towards me until he was next to me. I looked at him. He was bizarre, a man made out of brass. He said to me, "Recite some poetry." Then he recited poetry to me. I said, "Who are you?" He said, "I am your double from the Jinn." That is how I started reciting poetry. So that's another thing that I found interesting, and I was going to bring it up as another creature, is the Akareen, which is considered a doppelganger.
Oh, I've heard of those.
Okay, so some people say that they are of the Jinn, from the Jinn, or Jinn themselves, but a lot of people say they are not Jinn. They are just our dark selves, our dark plurals.
So it's kind of like you remember that show, The Dark Side? How there was a side that was of reality that was dark.
Yeah.
So that's what you're saying. It's
yeah, they're like from the dark side.
Okay, I can live with that.
But they are not themselves Jinn. So he could have met his dark side and it inspired him to poetry.
Or he could have stopped at the local tavern.
Or he could have met another Jinn.
Or it could just
do not respect him. He's a poet, and you know he's a real poet because he was obsessed with a married woman.
Fine.
So
this is great radio.
Okay, so there is another one. Pre-Islamic poet Tabata Sharan once wrote about sleeping with a jinnya, feminine form of jinn. It's a girl genie.
So his hand.
Shut up. In a poem called "How I Met the Ghoul." Okay. Ghoul is Ghul, not like...
So they miss... So, okay, go on.
I lay upon her through the night.
Oh, I bet.
That in the morning I might see what had come to me.
5 minutes.
Shut up! Okay. Behold! 2 eyes and a hideous head, like the head of a cat, split-tongued, legs like a deformed fetus, the back of a dog, clothes of haircloth or worn-out skins. I hope he didn't say that to her. No girl wants to wake up and be told that this is what she represents to him.
Okay, side note. Listen. So,
even if I looked like that, and a guy woke up next to me after who laid upon her throughout the night...
You've heard...
said this to me, I wouldn't...
You've heard of King Henry VIII, right? No. Have you ever heard how he describes his bride from Germany?
Oh, yeah, which is so mean.
It was so mean. And he'd never even... I mean, I don't think he'd ever seen her naked, but he was so mean. Anyway, okay, I guess. Oh! Side note. Okay, so there's this movie. It's like black and white, and it's really, really old. And it depicts King Henry VIII and his wives. And the actress playing that...
Did it show his ulcers and his skin split and his sores?
No. Anyway, so that actress, that it was all a ploy, that she knew that she could be beheaded, but she was forced to marry him. So she made herself as ugly as possible and as dumb as possible, so he would let her go. And she was actually the most fortunate of all of his wives. Okay, I digress. Go on.
I actually like that twist.
It was a pretty good movie. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay, so Rude Much. But,
is that his name?
No, well, this is his writing about waking up next to the
Genies.
But doesn't that sound more like a hag, a night hag?
No.
When you wake up and
not in the morning. Well, she wasn't holding him down. He just saw her.
I swear that sounds very similar.
Okay, so
Alright, so I'm assuming she was beautiful when he was with her all night.
Yeah, because he had beer goggles on.
And then the next morning, she's got the deformed legs of a fetus. I remember that movie Deadpool where he's like,
oh, now I'm seeing it.
He's got those little legs.
Alright, I've seen it.
And the back of a dog with the fetus legs.
Maybe she didn't shave.
So, alright, I'm just saying, be respectful to the women you go to bed with, okay?
They're letting you hump them.
Yeah, alright? I'm from Nevada. I know how much sex costs. It costs a pretty penny. You are getting it for free, so shut up.
Alright, go on.
Okay. According to Elzine, the ability of or desire to have sex isn't all Jinn have in common with humans. Like us, Jinn eat, drink, sleep, procreate, and die, she says. Through their mortal lives can extend for thousands of years, and yet, while we can relate to the spirits on many levels, the consistency remains that we cannot fully comprehend Jinn, though we can try. We can't even comprehend ourselves. So, that's not really big. Okay, so that was my thing on the poets. What about you? You said you had some real...
Oh yeah, is that all you had with the...
Well, I wanted to go into their powers a little bit more, because I know of some where they say they can manipulate your mind. So you see yourself in a room, there's no door. There is a door there, but they make you think there's a doorless room.
I saw that episode of Supernatural. I know.
So, there's that. There's shapeshift.
Okay.
And I'm assuming they have fire powers, because they are made out of fire. Though, if we're made out of clay, we don't have any cool clay powers. So... maybe not. Maybe
we do, we just haven't unlocked that ability.
Ooh.
Think about it for a minute.
Okay. What about the people who are slightly psychic? They might also be related to Jinn.
Might be.
I don't know. What other powers have you read any more powers from the Jinn?
No.
Other than that basic shape-shifting and...
it's just that,
Okay, so I saw the Creep Show, the new TV series on Shudder.
I haven't seen that yet. I want to watch that.
It is so good, and they did an episode on the Jinn.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it's going to be spoiler-free, but he has some crazy-ass powers in that one.
Okay, I'm going to have to watch that show.
Everyone should watch that. Watch Shudder. Shudder is such a great channel. I'm happy I paid for the subscription. I'm not even willing to pay for Disney yet. Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the stories I have a couple modern day, in the last 20 years. And it's mostly, the only stories I have are mostly from soldiers stationed over there.
Okay.
Because a lot of the natives find it kind of, remember when we did the Skinwalker?
Yeah, where they don't want to talk about it.
They don't want to talk about
it.
They
have, family Jinn, right?
Yes, but, the evil goings on, they think if you give it voice, then, bad things happen.
That's true with how a lot of people see demons, too.
So, I got some stories from a wonderful website. It's called Mysterious Universe. Mm-hmm. And the article is Strange Military Encounters with the Jinn by Brent Swanser. Excuse me. And I encourage you to go to that website. There was a lot more stories, and they had a lot more on there, and it was really fascinating. Okay. So, in Ganosh mythology, from Tenerife in the Canary Islands, there exists the belief in beings that were similar to genies, such as the Maxios, which means attendants of God, domestic and natural spirits. And so they are natives of the Canary Islands before they were colonized and enslaved by the Berbers under Jabba II of Nubia. Okay? So that's a little background. All right?
The Nubian?
With Numidia? I can't pronounce it. I've heard of Juba II, though. Mm-hmm. I think you have too. Okay, so this is from 2003, and this is from an American soldier. One such report comes from June of 2003 from a soldier who had been stationed in Mosul, Iraq, with the United States Army in the infantry with the 101st Airborne. According to the witness, at the time of the incident, he had just been involved in helping to suppress a riot that had broken out with locals, unhappy with the corrupt local police. In order to protect the police, squads were deployed to various police stations 24/7 for their own protection. And the witness happened to be in one of the squads one evening, keeping watch on a 3-story police building located in a cramped section of town, zigzagged by narrow roads barely wide enough to drive through. The witness described what happened on his watch. thus. Myself and 2 other guys from my squad were sitting on the balcony of the 2nd floor of the station, pulling security on our shift. It was sometime in the night. If I had to guess, I would say it was somewhere around 2:30. While on guard, we would use the lights from our rifles to illuminate any car that drove by, so we could see if there was any sort of weapons in the vehicle and stuff like that. We heard a car driving towards us from one of the side roads in the mosque, so we got ready with our lights to illuminate the car when it came into view. Once we saw the car, we shined our lights into the vehicle, directing the light towards the driver. The driver had a typical reaction to the surefire light, which is blinding intensity, by squinting his eyes and attempting to look away from the light. The passenger had a much different reaction. His eyes seemed to glow with intensity by the light. He stared right back at the light, almost looking through it at us. It was very eerie. At the time, the best we could describe his eyes were that of a cat in the dark, with a flashlight shone in its face. I have never heard of a person's eyes being like that before, or being able to reflect light like that, or anything you could purchase to do such things, especially in a 2nd or 3rd world country.
Well, what, like a cat? Because the cats can't do that.
Cat's eyes shine at night.
Yeah, they reflect light, but that's because their irises grow, so if you flash light in them, it actually kind of blinds them a little.
Yeah, well, they're saying it was an evil creature. Okay, so I have another one.
Okay, so here's the thing. I like stories from, like, authority figures.
Okay.
Cops, military, because, they have a lot to lose. They don't want to look like an idiot or like like crazies. But they were up at 2:00 in the morning. It could be a little bit more of like a dreamed it sort of situation.
I don't agree. I think that they could have seen something, but it could have been something. Maybe the dude that was in the car, maybe he was old, maybe he had glass eye. Maybe he had 2 glass eyes. Maybe he was blind. And so what they saw, was that. I think it's possible.
That is a very good possibility.
All right, so I have another one.
Yes, go for it.
Another possible report dealing with Jinn was relayed by a U.S. soldier deployed to a place called FOB, Forward Operating Base, in Endurance in Iraq, which was more or less composed of just some simple tents and an airplane hangar that had been taken over from Iraq forces. One feature of the camp was a sturdy concrete bunker. Okay, side note, I've heard lots of stories from military having to do with bunkers. Like, if you had to go anywhere, the bunker was the most terrifying places you could go.
I don't look, because it feels like you're going into a mausoleum or a tomb.
Yeah, so
I totally get where that would put them in a state of heightened intensity.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, so one feature of this camp was a sturdy concrete bunker that was fully equipped with a metal blast door. At some point during the deployment, the witness started a relationship with a female soldier, and they chose the bunker to have their private meetings. Bad idea! Because it was secure, with only one way in or out. There was also the fact that since the camp's noisy generator was situated just outside, they could immediately hear if anyone opened the blast doors. However,
I bet the creep factor also made it a little hotter.
Well, yeah, and plus, if he's any good, it covers the sounds of her enjoyment. However, the bunker trips would not last long after the two had a very strange encounter there. The witness would explain. Here is what stopped the bunker trips. Well, about the 2nd night on, Sarah would wake me in the middle of the night telling me she was hearing something outside the bunker with us. At first, I attributed the noise she was hearing to hedgehogs, as that part of Iraq is covered with them.
Really? I didn't realize that.
I didn't either.
Cool. I always thought of them as like a European creature.
I shrugged it off until I heard the noise. There was no doubt. They were footsteps. The night before, the last night we were stayed down there, I woke to whispering coming from the corner, which was followed by footsteps that approached my side of the bed. I woke Sarah and reluctantly turned my flashlight on, fearing what came next. But there was nothing. No body, no footprints, and worst of all, the blast door was closed just like we left it. The last night started with Sarah warning whatever was down there that they were not in the mood to be messed with, and that what we just needed was sleep. We both fell asleep as we reassured the other we were just hearing things. Again, that night, Sarah woke me, and we sat there in total darkness listening to whispers coming from the corner. 2 different voices, followed by footsteps approaching our bed. And then our bed violently shook for just a couple seconds, and then a tremendous sound as if a metal plate that had just been dropped next to the bed. In our panic, it took me a good 45 seconds to locate the flashlight. But once on, there again was nothing with us. No footprints, no evidence of what made that loud crashing sound, and that was the last night we had in the bunker.
So what if the Jinn was actually just like a voyeur, and he's like, oh no, they're sleeping, that's boring. Let's wake them up and see if they
okay, here's something that bothers me with that. They put that story with the Jinn, and reading it doesn't have
it sounds more like a poltergeist.
Or a ghost,
or guys playing pranks on them in a dark bunker.
So that one is, I'm not questioning if it happened or not. I'm just saying, I don't know if I'd put that in with a Jinn. But then again, a lot of them confuse Jinn with ghosts. And I was watching, do you watch Nuke Top 5 on YouTube?
No.
You should watch it. Nuke's, it's really good.
I know, everyone's told me that.
And I like him because unlike other YouTube channels, he doesn't... Okay, there was this one YouTube channel that I will not name, Slapped Ham. They played a video of... that was supposed to be a frightening video of zombies on infrared attacking this small village. The video they showed was part of a video game. And it really angered me that they would show that and claim it was terrifying footage from some country when they knew it was fake.
The Discovery Channel?
Yes!
Okay.
And it
Discovery Channel still angered me on that... mermaid shit that they pulled for a while
there. The Megalodon one too.
Okay, I liked the dragon one. What if dragons really existed? Because it was like a what if.
Yes, but this was.
But but with the mermaids, it was like, this is real.
It really angered me. So anyway, I don't. But this guy, he's never done that. He's just found videos he's found and he plays it. Anyway, he's got a lot of videos that there's ghost hunters in the Middle East from Iraq and Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia, and they post them, and they are, I mean, if you believe it, it's pretty damn frightening. I mean, their ghosts really, you watch these ghost hunters here in America, and our ghosts don't get up to shit most of the time, except, knocking, or you see a shadow.
Slamming doors.
My gosh, the shit that those things get over there. But the reason I brought this up is one video, the guy thought it was a Jinn. It was a cursed house with a Jinn attached to it. So I urge you guys to go and check it out. It was really interesting. And I'm wondering if they just put Jinn in with ghosts anyway over there. I guess anything supernatural.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I guess they could. They very well could. Because when you give, Jinn, the unlimited power, but you never say what the rules are, you can really say they're anything.
That's very true as well. So, okay, well, I thought that was pretty fascinating, and
I like things, especially when there's modern sightings of them or
yeah.
Because then there's well, maybe
you never know. Maybe it is. All right. Well, I think I want to propose an idea.
Okay.
I would like to pick the next subject we talk about.
Okay, that's fair because I have an idea for another subject too.
Okay. So, why don't you... Do you want to say yours and I'll say mine and then we'll decide which one sounds better for the next episode?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I want to do things in the water.
I want to do one where paranormal sightings done by authority figures.
That is interesting. I kind of like that idea, but I want to do the water.
Okay, we'll do water and then the next one can be authority figure sightings.
Okay. So, join us next week for... creepy things in the water because I found some good ones while I was looking this up. That's why I did that. So anyway, thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Bethany.
And it's Izzy.
And we hope that you join us next week for scary, creepy cryptids, ghosts, demons in the water.
So just anything in the water. Like your overweight uncle, John, who's
What are you supposed to be doing? No, never mind.
What?
Just
what?
No, never mind. Because every time I tell you at the end of the show, we're supposed to...
Oh, is this the actual ending, though? You gotta signal me. I need a signal.
Oh, I'll give you a signal. How about that one? How do you like that one? When I give you that signal, that means you wah-ah-ah.
Well, okay. All right, let's wah-ha-ha. I'm down. I'm down for wah-ha'ing.
It's done.
You're so angry.